Hi, I'm Tanmay Sharma.
And I'm Jason Love.
We're building the world's first e-commerce marketplace for investment research reports.
Let's jump straight into it with our demo video. Tell me if you could turn the screen share on, please.
Sure. Right. So this is our website, and as both me and Jason have explained, we're the world's first e-commerce marketplace for investment research reports, as you can all see
And
from the
important,
screen.
yes, and important to note is that we rank these investment advisors by win to loss ratio.
Exactly. And that is important because it serves as a ranking mechanism, if you may call it that. So when you do buy investment advice, you can look at their historical performance and judge before you spend a single penny or a single pesa to buy any investment advice. Right. So let's go and let's look at our features before we. So we also have our amazing features. So let's go through with them one by one, right? We have our authenticity check, which, as Jason correctly mentioned, we rank all our investment advisors by win to loss ratio. So you can check their authenticity.
Then we have our first try and rely with our Cred++ initiative, where any university student, prospective customer, or any member of the public can check and audit our win to loss ratios on expired investment research reports for free.
Indeed, Jason. Also, one more thing that is a prime example of our commitment and our culture at FEMCA is open source accountability. So, keeping in line with our promise of anyone getting expired investment research reports for free, we also allow open source accountability. So, because anyone can get these expired investment research reports for free, anyone can audit our calculation of this win to loss ratio, which means that they can audit our audit of the win to loss ratio, which is again an open source accountability issue that is really close to both me and Jason.
So, all investment advisors on FEMCA Financial Services are registered investment advisors with the relevant investment advisory regulatory body in their jurisdiction. So, for example, Australia would be ASIC, US would be SEC, UK would be FCA, and India would be SEBI. And this is done with our RRV scheme of Regulator Registered Verified.
Exactly, Jason. And in keeping in with our features, right? Let's look at this marketplace. So what we've done is right now, most of you as prospective customers, investors, and investing public do know that we don't have investment advisory license. So we're hampered in a way that we're ring fenced that we can't give investment advice. Now, even though we can't give investment advice, we made sample investment advice so that a seller can see and feel how it will look if they were to sell investment advice on our platform, right? So this is part of our minimum viable product or part of our website, the feature, which is how the product in a final when the in the final version of the website will look like. So these are the samples. We'll go into these further separately on the marketplace when we go ahead and look into it. Again, now this is a part which is like the community forum under which we discuss various things. So what is book value versus what is market value? What's the difference? What's a call option? What's capital markets? So we discuss these things in our forum, and people can visit and read about them. Now we have our membership plans, and I'm sure Jason would gladly go ahead and elaborate on them.
So these are our membership plans, our version of like Amazon Prime, and if you call creme de la creme membership plans. We start off, of course, with the basic joining fee, where you just get the basic browsing and access to the site, so you can browse, purchase, and post things on the forum and post questions and stuff. But then it upgrades into the more more priority subscription plans such as retail trader or professional trader, where you get discounts on your purchases. Divided by the win to loss ratios of what you're purchasing. So, for example, the retail trader can get 5 discounted reports of a 90 to 95% win to loss ratio at a 1 to 10% discount, but they cannot get any discount on their 99% win to loss ratio reports. And each run goes up, and more services, more discounts, and more customer care.
Okay, so this we don't need to discuss. Hi guys, welcome to our marketplace. So what we've done here is we've made a mock-up of sample investment research reports because as you correctly know, we don't have an investment advisory license yet. But that didn't stop us. That shouldn't stop us, right? So what we've done is we've made a sample of how an investment research report should look like when there is actual content and investment advice being bought and sold on our platform. So here you can see there's an investment advice which has a win to loss ratio of 95%. It has the price of $3,500. Then there's another one which is 90% win to loss ratio. That has the price of $2,400. Then there is an investment advice for 85%. It has $1,200. 99% win to loss ratio investment advice that has a price tag of $5,000. Another one for 75%, which has a price tag of $50. And finally, we have two investment advice, one which has a win to loss ratio of 80%, that's selling for $150, and a one investment advice for $12, which is selling with a win to loss ratio of 60%. So as you can rightfully see, the price here, which is our assumption, is directly proportional to the win to loss ratio. So if investment advice has a higher win to loss ratio, it is beneficial both for a seller and for a buyer. For a seller, the price is directly proportional to their win to loss ratio. For a buyer, it's in their benefit because, look, I'm a risk averse investor. I don't like risk. I only want advice from a 99% win to loss ratio investment advisor. And if that means that I need to shell out $55,000, then that be it. Because there are a lot of people who can afford those investment advice and act on it. So if I'm playing with $100,000, then paying $5,000 as an investment uh, for an investment advice with 99% win to loss ratio, if I have the past record of the investment advisor that their investment advice has been 99% correct versus 1% they've been incorrect, that is a worthy trade-off if we are trading with a large enough corpus. If not, then we can obviously go for something which is more in our budget, perhaps delve with something with a 60% win to loss ratio if we're a beginner investor and we want to just take some investment advice, right? And this is what we believe. Now let's delve into it and let's open one. So let's go to this one, which is Nikkei 225, which is again a sample investment research report. As you can see, the description is lorem ipsum, which is a text filler. So we've added a text filler, and then it has the language English. So this is very important. So let's say with our Chinese counterparts, say if there was an investment research report for the Chinese market, and the investment advisor was Chinese and it was written in Mandarin, we would automatically run translation on the advice, and they could also submit a translated version if they would like to, but we would do that for them. But this is in English, so the language is displayed here. Then the expires on, this is the sample, so it doesn't have a expiry date. This is the underlying, so Nikkei 225 is the indices for Japan. which is what this investment advice is. The buy this is the analyst name. I've just made a fictitious name up. So we've taken the name of John D. Rockefeller, which is a fictitious name here. This is not real. And the win to loss ratio again is not real. This is a fictitious made up win to loss ratio made to give you a sample. Then there would be the buy price, the target price or range, and the stop loss. Then you see something which is grayed out. You might be wondering why that is the case, right? Because that is what we're selling. We're selling you those levels. So if we give those freely to someone, then no one would buy it, right? So what happens is a customer would come on this page, they would see everything, and then if they want to see these levels, then they need to make a payment. They need to click this, make a payment, and then they could see those levels. Obviously, they would not know whether it was a buy recommendation or a sell recommendation as well, which all of it would become available post payment um, of the transaction. Um, Similarly, the company name would be there. So, for example, Standard Oil Investment Advisors, and then FEMCA has audited this company. So we give a to our trustable investment advisors, we give a FEMCA audited tag mark, and that would be displayed here. Then you would have analyst win to loss ratio. So John D. Rockefeller in this example has a 99% win to loss ratio. Then you have a peer review, which is basically other investment advisors or highly qualified investment professionals can review this analyst. So every analyst would have that. Then you have the customer review, same like how Amazon has. Only the customers that have purchased your investment advice are able to give you a review. Then you have a trending. So what number this specific investment research is trending on FEMCA Financial Services, that number would be displayed here. Again, so as we said, a win to loss ratio could be for every level, right? So the hierarchy, let's say John D. Rockefeller works for Standard Oil Investment Advisor. Standard Oil investment advisor then may have its own win to loss ratio, and Standard Oil might be there in Europe, which they might have a EMEA, they might be in India, they might be in China, they might be in Australia, they might be in Canada, they might be in US. So within the Standard Oil hierarchy, then there would be divisions. So there would be other organizations. So more like a parent company would be Standard Oil Investments, and then subsidiaries would be there. And then say under EMEA, then there would be UK, which would be another subsidiary. So that would come in the jurisdiction. So the win to loss ratio for Standard Oil UK would be different from the win to loss ratio for Standard Oil Advisors, which is the parent company of the parent company of Standard Oil UK Investment Advisors. Similarly, the analyst can have different win to loss ratios, right? So the analyst will have one overall win to loss ratio, but then the analyst could have different win to loss ratio for asset class. So let's keep an example. For instance, John D. Rockefeller here may have win to loss ratio for indices, may have a different win to loss ratio for I don't know, commodities might have a different win to loss ratio for forex. So similarly, then they'll have another win to loss ratio for category. So FMCG or metals or telecommunications, so they would have a separate win to loss ratio for each category. Within financials or financials is one category, right? So let's say within financials there might be a category subcategory which is private banks. So then the private banks will have another win to loss ratio. So John D. Rockefeller might have a different win to loss ratio for their financials, private banks category within their financials. So that would be displayed here. And under that, let's say John D. Rockefeller is advising on Barclays shares, or in India, it would be ICICI Bank shares, or in Australia, it would be ANZ shares, or in America, it would be Wells Fargo or JP Morgan shares. So that would be displayed here. So each level can have its own win to loss ratio. So that would be displayed here, right? And obviously going after that, the page would have a bio about the analyst. So we've made this up. It's fictitious just to show the prospective sellers of investment research reports how it's going to look like. They can then add their work experience. So because this page is for John D. Rockefeller, we've added that John D. Rockefeller is head of investments at Standard Oil Investment Advisors. They've been a senior investment advisors at Silver Sachs and have been a junior investment advisor at Debt Suisse. So that's again made up names. They mean nothing. And then they have their own alma mater, so MSc Investment Advisory at Carnegie Mellon, and BA Honors Investment Management at University of New South Wales, which is an example. They so John D. Rockefeller may have a professional training such as they may hold a CMT and a CFA charter holder. So they in this example, we've added both CMT and CFA charter holdership for John D. Rockefeller. Then in our display of information, this is the current um, this is the current investment advice that can be bought for $5,000 for Nikkei 225 for the week 42. Since we know that there are 52 weeks in a year, which can be purchased for $5,000. And the example we've taken is that the analyst is updating investment advice week by week. So their previous investment advice has been updated here, which is week 32, week 33, week 34, week 35, week 36, and so on and so on. You can see they're incorrect, they're correct, 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 then again incorrect, then correct. Again, once this will be a real investment advice, when it says incorrect, that would be hyperlinked to their expired investment research report. So say this was incorrect, right? That would be hyperlinked. You would be able to click that and go on their previous investment advice and actually view what the investment advice was, and then go ahead to the next one. And similarly, over time, this will build their win to loss ratio. This is what we plan to do with our marketplace. Obviously, these levels might be there, so a lot of traders might only want these levels, but a lot of investors might also want detailed research report. So once you buy, you can have the levels and look at the research report. So the research report is also available because this is a question that has been coming to us, that is it only for traders, is this not for investors? Which is not correct. This is for investors as well, who may be long-term investors. But again, just because you're a long-term investor does not mean that you shouldn't care, or you do not care about the exact entry price. So the time at which you enter your underlying position is also as important as for how long you hold it and what you buy and sell. With that, I would let Jason um, go ahead and do the community forum. Hi guys, so this is also another reason why what we're trying to do is very important. So as you can see, this is one of investment advice from one of the um, investment advisors that I take investment advice in my personal capacity. Um, you can clearly see there is date written here. Then there is the ticker, so Nifty, which is India's indices, which is an indice in India, is written here. Then there is action, which is buy, following which there is an initiation range, which is the range that you should ideally buy it at, so like the buying price. Then there is a target price, target range. Either it could be a price or a range. Here it's a range. Then you have a stop loss, which is if it falls under this, the investor should exit the position at this or under this. And then the duration, which is intraday. What we're proposing in addition is to add an expiry date in this. So we add an expiry date on this investment advice. So this is what we're proposing. So this, people are already doing this. We're trying to take up another notch higher by giving something better. So similarly, how you can see this date that it was published for the underlying, this is the underlying which is here, then the action which is the buy, and then initiation range where they should buy, and then here instead of a target range it's a target price which should be 96 rupees in India, which is what their investment advice says. Then you have a stop loss, which is again, if it falls under this you should exit it, and the duration, which is 14 days. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take this and then rank them on their win versus loses, right? That is what we're trying to do. So this Nifty would be a separate investment advice. This Lupin would be which is this other one, which would be a separate investment advice. The third one would be a separate investment advice. Then these two would again be separate investment advisors. So like you can see, there are other investment advice as well. And then when you go down, you can see the research analysts, the teams, and you can basically see the um, detailed explanation. So you can see the Nifty, which is the indices. They've done a detailed research and justified what they're advising you to buy and sell, and on what basis they're doing that. Then they have another indices which is called Bank Nifty, which is for the banking sector in India. Then you have those shares that were they have just advised us on. After that, you have the other previous investment advice as well that they have advised us on. Finally, you also have other market activity reports, so like the currency markets. Here you can see the equity markets, you can see advanced decline ratios and stuff. You can see various other things that should be important for a investor or a trader to know. So they've added this. Similarly, we're trying to do exactly same thing on our website. The difference being that we are going to rank these investment advisors by a win to loss ratio. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that currently what all the investment advisors do is they boast about their wins, but they rarely tell you about their losses. So that is what we're trying to make sure that we can do. And this is basically an example to show you that this is already happening. We're just improving it, if we may call it that. So we what we're doing is we're trying to add a few other things that can make it that much more better than it is right now. So that's what we're trying to do, and I will then move ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so this is our community forum. Because we were my YC so much, and just to keep things in a basic layout, we've sampled the design of their own forum. So we have our posts down the side, such as Bitcoin, call option, what is capital markets, with an upvote downvote function telling you who posted it, what company they may be from, when it was posted, and what channel it is under. The categories of channels. So we have like featured posts, FEMCapedia, which is our version of Wikipedia for investment research purposes. And you can also just search the forum, shrinking down what all options there are. With the channels, we give a few main, but then you can extend to the whole lot of them. And you can even, when making your own posts, you can design a customized channel to post under. So just here, you can make your own category, um, or you can choose from one of our own existing categories to what channel you want your post to be under. Let us set this to general and say sample post perhaps, and then put some make our post. And one of the features that we have with here, because with financial information posts, we have to have sometimes equations. So we have an equation editor set out with some basic, it uses a LaTeX format. So you can use LaTeX encoding, typing out the equation, or if you don't know LaTeX, we have some basic, most commonly used symbols or operators set out here. So for example, a sum, all, what did you put, and zero, that's not how you do it, but you can just make your own equation sort of thing. And yes, then you can make your post, which I should delete once this is done. So, and now that it's posted, we can have a look to see how it is. As you can see, a sample post 2 minutes ago in the general category, where we can of course delete, people can put their comments down, and then it also gives a handy little thing of telling the poster's position, what company they would be, the name, and with a connection to their profile system, which if you go in, you can go right straight to their profile, where of course you can see basically their bio, work experience, and what Tony has also just talked through when shown with the marketplace research reports, because will be linked into that as well. Yeah.
Right, guys, welcome to the IRR upload dashboard. So this is the dashboard where analysts and researchers can upload their content or investment advice, right? So because we don't have an investment advisory license, we were forced to think creatively, which we did. We took a page out of the book of a lot of investment researchers who are not investment advisors. They make a disclaimer that it's only for educational purposes and it's not for sale. So we took that page out of their book and we added that to our advantage, which comes here as education purposes. Is this research for educational purposes or is it a genuine investment advisory, right? Is it for sale as an investment advisory? So if it's not, they can enter it as educational purposes, which people could help build up their win to loss ratio on FEMCA financial services. And they do have a, uh, once they do have an investment advisory license, then they can go ahead and select no and start selling it. Existing investment advisors can go ahead and select no and straight away go and upload investment research reports. However, a disclaimer: when you do select no, you will need to go through KYC. If you're a new investment advisor, we will need to check that you are indeed registered with the regulatory authority of the jurisdiction in which you're trying to sell the investment advice, right? Again, so the language, keeping up with the point from the previous marketplace, you can have English, you can have Mandarin, you can have Japanese, you can have Korean, you can have German, you can have French, you can have Arabic, or you can have Spanish. We're still trying to build the list, but this is what we have at the moment. Then we have the research title, which you can enter here. If I go back, so the research title here is Nikkei 225. So if I was to enter a Nikkei 225, that would be the research title here. Subtitle is optional. If someone does want to add it, they can go ahead and add that. In addition, there is um, series information. So someone might you can see here that the person has Nikkei 225, right? They do investment advice week on week on week on the same underlying, so they can have like series 2020. So all the investment advice for 2020, that would be series 2020, and then the week could be the series number, series, yeah, series name could be 2020, and the series number could be the week, name of number of the week. That could be one example. Alternatively, if the seller wants to choose something else, they can choose that. Um, in addition, then say the publishing company would be the company that they work in, right? So, for instance, John D. Rockefeller here works for Standard Oil Investment Advisors. Standard Oil Investment Advisors would be the publishing company here, or a group of companies. If, say, John D. Rockefeller would work for Standard Oil Investment Advisors, Barclays, and ICICI Bank, and ANZ, and Wells Fargo together, creating this research for all of them, and they are doing a syndicated research, then all of them would be added here, and the primary author's name would be added here. Then you could have contributors. So, for instance, if I, Tanmay Sharma, was to contribute some work, then the primary author would be John D. Rockefeller, and contributors could be added here and here. So, if I was a contributor, my name could be added. And if Jason was another contributor, his name could also be added. Then there is description. You can add a description up to 20,000 words here, which you can expand as well to suit your need to view all of it in one go. Then there is publishing rights, which is I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights. I own the copyright and my company holds the publishing rights. My company owns the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights. My company owns the copyright and my company holds the necessary publishing rights. Or this is a public domain work, right? So these are the 5 categories that you could choose from. Then comes the keyword. So people could add their own keywords. So for instance, if it was Nikkei 225, you could add the keyword called indices, um, or Japan, or uh, um, similarly Japanese indices. So those would be examples. Then you could have categories, options, you could have equities, you could have fixed income, you could have commodities, you could have foreign exchange, cryptocurrencies, real estate, futures, and then you could select pre-order. So you could have privileged privileged pre-order class, which is the analyst uploads on Friday to portal, client gets access straight away. Gold class is analyst uploads on Friday to portal, clients get access on Sunday. Silver class is analyst uploads on Friday to portal, client gets access on Monday, 4 hours before the market opens, and then release now, right? So you could they could choose from these options. Going to the next is the report content. You could select the jurisdiction. So, for instance, if it is Euro USD, Euro USD is applicable worldwide. But if it's Barclays shares only sell in United Kingdom, so I would select United Kingdom. If it was ANZ Bank, I would select Australia, because ANZ Bank shares can only be sold in uh, Australia. That also brings up the question of global depository receipts or American depository receipts. Was, say, ICICI Bank shares. ICICI Bank is an Indian listed company only. Uh, it it sells in India. However, with that, there is a caveat that ICICI shares also do sell in USA under the category of American depository receipts. So you can give investment advice on the ICICI Bank shares which are listed on US as well. So you could have the same underlying in different jurisdictions as well, which can be selected from here. Here you could select the sector. So the sector would be energy, materials, industrials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, healthcare, financials, information technology, telecommunication services, utilities, and real estates. So these are some of the sectors. We're adding even more sectors, but these would be the ones you could choose from. Then comes the underlying security. So if, say, it was Barclays, you would enter Barclays, and let's select UK from here, and let's select financials here. So this would be Barclays. You could this you could enter the current price, or it would auto-populate. We are still working on getting this to auto-populate, and it should be up and running very soon. Uh, then you could enter the buy price, the ideal buy price you would like the uh, client to buy the shares or the underlying at, and then you could have the target price or range, which could be entered here, and then you could have the stop loss price. Lastly, you could have an expiry date. So the investment advice should expire by, for example, 30th of September 2020. And then you could have a manuscript. So either you can upload it by choosing files, or you could do the Creator Studio, similar to how Jason went through the making post. You could enter it here. Um, and then you could have attachments. So I know a lot of investment advisors, what they do is they take screenshots of charts that could be added here, or alternatively, that could be added directly in the manuscript as well. In addition, here how you can see the sample of the uh, cover picture. You could also upload a cover picture using this, so you can add it using this. And lastly, there is ISBN. So if you want to buy an ISBN for your investment research, similar to how books have an ISBN, you can go ahead and do that as well. Uh, Lastly, there is report pricing. So is this educational report for free? Because I've selected educational report, then either it could be free or it could be paid. So if you have paid, then you have all these options for the pricing. Similarly, you could either have in currency of UK's currency. So let's say £10. In UK it's pounds, and set price. It will automatically use the same price. So here we have a $13.78. Similarly, in Austria, it's €10 and 95 cents. In Canada, it's $17.08. In China, it's 87 yuan. In India, it's 952 rupees and 28 paisa, and so on and so on. And then you can go ahead and either save it as a draft or publish it. It doesn't show us uh, option to publish it because we haven't uploaded anything. There's nothing to publish yet, but this is a dashboard using which straight away people can start uploading the investment research reports from here, from now, from our MVP.
Well, this is the public view of the profile, so you can see the information of the posters, similar to how you would see in the marketplace, or where you can see the work experience, alma mater, of course. You, of course, for your own personal profile, you'll set this up in your accounts section just up here. This is where you come, and you can have in editing profiles, you edit all the public information. So cover photo, your avatar photo, your bio, your work experience, and all the like. You can even decide whether you want to use your login username or your personal name as the name used in all discussion posts in the community forum. Now, I don't want to do anything here, but so you can go back. Similarly, with here, you can also see what other questions you've posted on the forum, your own research, which is currently there, which is expired. And for those, of course, you'll have to verify as a seller, where you put all your KYC information, and you can also give your personal details. So this is where you put your name, your company, and your contact info, um, which will be utilized now or later. So if you wanted to reach out to us at all, then we can you can either contact us via the tracker down the bottom. This will get in contact directly, and we'll be able to reach back to you as soon as available. Otherwise, you can go via our feedback forum, which also helps us in helping you with the customer experience, user interfaces, or anything you feel that you might be missing out on, which you can put in and put through. And in the footer section, we also have you can also reach to us via the various social medias, such as our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, or our YouTube, uh, which we post up various posts about either our startup or investment information, um, and such things. So you can come out and check out our YouTube. And yeah, other than that, we also have our motto mentioned here. We help traders and investors to be correct more often. Um, and yes, let's go over to the FAQ.
Sure, Jason.
And here we have our FAQ section where you can just expand any of our frequently asked questions to see what the answers would be. So for example, who can sell on FEMCA financial services?
So, in accordance with CFA principles, CFA promotes following stricter of the law, right? So we are going to abide by stricter of the law, not because we have to, but because we want to. We abide by the stricter of the law, which means that only regulator registered investment advisors can sell on FEMCA financial services.
And I'm an investment advisor, but not very well known. Can I apply to sell my investment research report on FEMCA financial services?
The short answer is yes, but you still need to be registered with the regulator. Same principle as the previous question. You can still apply as a investment research analyst and an investment research house to FIPCA Financial Services. If you're not registered, we can help you get registered. We can connect you with lawyers and intermediaries who can help you get registered as an investment advisor. But you will need to be a registered investment advisor to be able to sell investment advice on FEMCA Financial Services.
And of course, what is FEMCA Cred Plus Plus?
Sure. So FEMCA Cred Plus Plus is our initiative under which we work with educational institutions, students, professors, and any educational institutions, be it a university, be it a school, be it a college, be it any educational institution where they can get expired investment research reports for free. Alternatively, they can also avail our paid services for a discounted price for a limited time period. So FEMCA Cred Plus Plus is an initiative under which we try to support future investment analysts, future investment managers, future investment advisors in building up their career. Not only can they fast track their career by posting investment advice here on FEMCA and then getting noticed by other companies, big companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, who can then look at these investment advisors who have a high win to loss ratio and then give them an offer of employment. That is one of the ways that they can foster their career. Another example is that they can use this to trade or invest and use the same services like anyone else would. In addition, they could use this for academic research. So by getting expired investment research reports, they could do their PhD, or they could do their dissertations, they could do their courseworks on investment advisory. So a lot of finance, business, and investment courses would benefit a lot from the Cred Plus Plus initiative of FEMCA Financial Services.
Going further down, how do I know that the research sold on FEMCA is not bogus?
Sure. So as we've mentioned before, all investment advice on FEMCA Financial Services is sold by regulator registered investment advisors. So you would be able to see that all investment advisors on FEMCA Financial Services, A, are registered with the regulator. B, they will have a win to loss ratio that will build over time, which will prove their correctness versus incorrectness, which is the ultimate testament of whether their investment advice is bogus or not bogus.
So, as an investment house selling my research on FEMCA, how does a win to loss ratio help me?
This is a really important question, right? Because as a seller of investment research report, you're concerned that when you do sell investment advice on FEMCA, you're not getting the short end of the stick, right? So in order for your incentives to be safeguarded, there's one very simple basic factor. Your cost or the price of your investment advice is directly proportional to your win to loss ratio. So if you have a 99% win to loss ratio under Porter's five forces, you have a higher pricing power of that investment research report, right? If you have a 60% um, win to loss ratio, the buyer has a higher pricing power. But if you have a higher win to loss ratio, the seller has a higher pricing power, which is one of the main reasons that a lot of sellers that we talk to get excited about selling on FEMCA Financial Services. Um, of course, we are still working on getting them onboarded and stuff, but this is one of the major KPIs. And I believe, as a research house selling on FEMCA Financial Services, this is one of the prime things that you should take note of.
Yeah, and so with that, moving on, let's just wrap it up with the final question of I'm a freelancer and I want to start selling my investment research in FEMCA Financial Services. How do I go about that?
Sure. So this is a very important question, right? A lot of freelancers and professionals who are from the investment advisory sector may want to sell their investment advice on FEMCA Financial Services. Now, again, the same exact thing is applicable to them as well. They need to be a registered investment advisor with the regulator for their jurisdiction. We can help with this. We can connect them with lawyers whom we work with. So in India, there's Clear Tax and Vakil Search and all who are really good service providers. And you in USA, there's many Y Combinator partners that we would like to partner with, and we uh, will work with them. So these freelancers can take their services and apply for an investment advisor license with these legal partners who can get help to these freelancers in getting them registered and doing all the legal paperwork. So once they have everything sorted, then they can get on to getting their work done. So if as an investment advisor, you're a freelancer. That does not mean you cannot sell on our platform. That just means that you need to be still registered with the regulator, and then you can sell on our and then you can sell on FEMCA Financial Services as a seller. So that's the only thing. So I believe that concludes our demo video, and this has been a pleasure. It's Jason Love and myself, Tanmay Sharma, the co-founders of FEMCA Financial Services. This is our demo video for FEMCA Financial Services.